Well, we're finally near the end of our discussion of the Hebrew verbal system, and at least how to form the different forms of the Hebrew verbal system. In chapter 37 of the Ross textbook, we meet a chapter called doubly weak verbs. Doubly weak verbs. And the verbs in this chapter really are sick verbs. They are the sickest of the weak verbs because they're not just weak on the front end in root 1, but they're also weak on the back end, root 3. And so they're weak on both ends of the verb. These verbs are called doubly weak verbs since they are weak. They have weak letters in two different places. But there really is good news in this chapter, and that is that this chapter is really a review chapter for lessons 32 through 36. Since the weaknesses that we will see in root 1 for doubly weak verbs, we've already discussed those root 1 weaknesses in chapters 32 through 35. Chapter 32 and 33, we hit 1 gutturals. Chapter 34, we hit 1 noons. Chapter 35, we hit 1 yod, 1 vav verbs. And those are all weak on the front end. And then the weaknesses of the root 3 letter were also discussed in chapter 36, our 3 hey section. And these doubly weak verbs are also 3 hey. But here, for lesson 37, both sorts of weaknesses are going to occur in the same verb. And that's what makes this chapter different. When the weaknesses occurred in only, say, root 1, we at least had the benefit of the back end of the verb being normal. And so the theme vowel was there for us to be able to identify the form. Here, we have to do a little bit more detective work because as these are 3 hey verbs, the theme vowel is going to be obscured. If you remember, the vowel under root 2 is going to be different than what we normally see. And so we really have to pay attention to root 1, but root 1 will show some weaknesses. Root 1 will possibly look different through a difference in vowel pointing due to a guttural needing a compound shiva, or we might have assimilation of root 1 if it's a 1 noon verb, or aphoresis could happen, situations with certain 1 noon verbs and are originally 1 vav verbs. Okay? So there are issues here that need to be dealt with and thought through, but the good news here is that it is not an insurmountable task. So we want to start in the first part of our formation section with verbs that are doubly weak as far as 1 guttural front weakness as well as the 3 hey weakness on the back side. What I've done in your handout here is to list 4 columns, and these columns I'm going to read off from right to left. That's the direction we read in Hebrew, as you remember. We have this typical strong verb, so pakad. We have our typical 1 guttural verb. Here I'm using amad, to stand, which is a dynamic active verb, so not a state of 1. I'm just trying to pick out a normal verb here. Our 3 hey verb for our 3 hey paradigm, which was gala, to reveal. And then in the last chapter, and I've got that highlighted for the heading so that you can see that this is really the one we're focusing on. This is a 1 gut and 3 hey doubly weak verb. The verb Allah in the kal means to ascend. And we're here dealing with the kal forms, okay? Forms in the kal of 1 gut, 3 hey doubly weak verbs. And I hope that by looking at these 4 forms for each section, each parsing, I hope that it will help you to actually notice that the doubly weak verb is simply combining the front of 1 weak verb and the back of the other. So let's take a look at some of these forms, okay? In the kal perfect 3ms, starting with the strong verb, we have pakad. Notice that this is the verb form that doesn't exhibit any weakness and no oddities. It is truly a strong normal verb. And so pakad has long A, short A. 1 guttural verbs do not exhibit any weakness in the kal perfect under most circumstances. And so if you notice, the 3ms is amad, long A, short A. Gala is weak on the back side, but not on the front side. So what I'm going to do here is I'll use a green highlighter to highlight the strong part here of verbs that are weak. There's no weakness in 1 gutturals here in the perfect, but I've got gala, strong, on the front end. and on the back end is where our weakness is. Okay, now over here with Allah, well, Allah's one guttural, so it's strong in the perfect, but its back end is going to follow the 3-hey back end problem. Okay, so let's look at the next one. We have pakada. You know that pakada is the third feminine singular perfect, she appointed. Ahmad becomes amada. You see no difference here because, again, in the perfect of the cal, one guttural verbs are quite normal in most forms. Galatha, notice that the front part is normal. Galatha, the back part is weak. Galatha, and same thing with our form for Allah. She ascended, went up. Alatha, we're strong on the front end, but we had to add the extra tav here for 3-hey verbs in the cal perfect 3FS, and then the comet say. Now over here with the 2MP form, on this 2MP form we have for the strong verb pekadtem. Remember that the heavy ending causes proprotonic reduction of the pa long a here, so pakadtem becomes pekadtem. But this is normal in terms of our strong verb. Now what I want you to notice over here is that the one guttural now exhibits the one weakness in the cal perfect, and that is the compound shiva here under the ayin. So the front part is weak here due to that guttural, and the rest of this follows the regular strong verb, so amad tem. Okay? Now, over here with 3-hey verbs, notice that the 3-hey verb is doing normal business on the front side, but it's the back side that is weak. So now I have, remember, green is strong, yellow is weak. I've got weak on the front, weak on the back, and so notice over here for Allah, I have weakness on the front with the compound shiva instead of the vocal shiva, and weakness on the back. So here I'm weak on both ends. Can you still parse this verb? Absolutely. Tem is a heavy ending. That gets you perfect 2MP every time. And I've got only 2 letters visible, and they're either roots 1 and 2 or roots 2 and 3. Compound shiva with the heavy ending, I know that's supposed to be a vocal shiva. The guttural can account for that, so I know that it's really root 3 that's missing, and this is a 3-hey verb. All right. Now let's look at the cal imperfect forms. I put a handful of them here. We're not going through the entire paradigm for everything, but just a sampling to help you see what's going on. I have yifkod. You know that verb. He will appoint. And this is strong on the front and the back. Root 1, root 2, 3. Ya'amod. That's the one guttural cal imperfect. So notice this is strong on the back because the weakness is not on the back side, but the front is a bit unusual. I expect I-class silent shiva. Here I got A-class and A-class compound shiva. This is what one gutturals do. I'm trying to close the syllable, and the guttural could take a silent shiva, but to be unkind to you, says I'll take a compound shiva instead and make life a little bit harder. So that's what we get. Notice that on the verb gala, the back end is the weak part, but the front end is following normal strong verb behavior. Yif, code, yig, lay. It's the back that's weak. And for our doubly weak verb, notice that the front part is weak, and the back part is showing the weakness here. The ya'a and the lay are going to combine here with ya'alay in this verb. All right? So I've got both sides weak. Okay, for the cal imperfect 2FS, it's tifkadi. Again, tifkadi is following the strong verb pattern. Ta'amdi, notice that here I'm normal on the back side. It's the root 1 that's causing me problems, and I get ta'am. It would have been ta'amdi with a compound shiva, but when I have a compound shiva and a vocal shiva, remember the Red Rider problem shoots out both eyes under the compound shiva and leaves the full short vowel. So ta'amdi. the weak verb of 3 he gala becomes tig li. Tig li. So this is strong on the front, like tif, tig, but weak on the back side. Instead of a third root letter with a silent shiva, vocal shiva under root 2, I just cut off the mater and go straight to the vocalic ending. So tig li, tif kadi, tig li. And then for my doubly weak verb, I have the ta'a, the A class vowels, along with the root 2 taking the Keurig yod. So ta'a li. So again, this is weak on front and back, following both patterns for their respective front and back sides. Now, for the third feminine plural, I have tif kodna for pakad, tif kodna. And I just noticed here that this chet should be a che. All right. Those look so similar to each other that I didn't catch that. So tif kodna, tif kodna. And in here I have ta'amodna, ta'amodna. Where is this normal? On the back side, because this is only a one guttural verb. Where is it weak? On the front side, instead of the I class vowel silent shiva, I'm getting A class vowel, A class compound shiva. Ta'amodna. For the 3 he verb, it is normal on the front side, tif, kodna, tig, but weak on the back side. I get tig, lena. Root 2 takes a segul yod followed by the consonantal ending. All of them have the na. It's just what happens under root 2. There's no root 3, as in these forms. And then our doubly weak verb is taking the characteristics of the front part, one vav weakness, one guttural weakness, and the back part, 3 he weakness. So I get ta'alena, ta'alena. So the ta'a, one guttural, lena with the segul yod is 3 he weakness there. Okay, so the verb means to go up, so it's y'all, women, will go up. Now, for the WCI in the cow, I have va yif code. I get that va with the doubling dot and the nutty prefix yod here for the 3ms. Any of the 4 nutty prefixes can take that doubling dot except for the aleph. The one vav verb is va ya'amod. So we are all normal on the back side. And of course, our va here is also very normal. What's weak is the matter of the prefix. I get the ya'a instead of the yif. Okay, and we've already seen that weakness there. So we're normal on the very back, and of course with the vav. Over here for the 3 he verb, I have va yigel. Now remember what happens here. What happens here is my apocompation problem. This should have been va yigle, like this form, yigle with the va in front of it, va yigle. But apocompation happens in the WCI injussive, and apocompation means that the mater he and its vowel are going to be chopped off. That's going to leave this as a consonant cluster, and frequently a segul will drop in here to break up the consonant cluster. Va yiggle, va yiggle. So we are definitely weak on the back end here. Va yiggle, va yif code, va yiggle. And then look, I have the same thing happening here. We have the A vowels with the prefix, and we have the apocompation on the back end. Okay, the only thing that's normal about this is the fact that I have my va with the A class vowel and the doubling dot there. Now what happened here? Let's just walk through this for a second. It would have been va ya a le, right? What happens here? Apocompation. The segul he drops out, and I'm left with va ya ul, va ya ul. Now, what happens? The segul would have come here, just like it did here, but ion is a guttural, and it prefers what kind of vowel? Yes, it prefers an A-class vowel there, right? And so instead I'm going to get a pathak here, ya'al, ya'al. And when I have apocupation in the kal and the hifil, what I frequently see is that accent retracting, going one step back. So vaya'ale becomes vaya'al, vaya'al. Okay, so that's our form there. The 3FS is given here just to show you that the yod is not characteristic of the WCI. The yod is the 3MS form. Many of my students, because when we deal with principal parts, when they see WCI, they always see a yod with a doubling dot. I want you to realize that any nutty prefix can take a doubling dot in the Vayiktal form. So va tifkod, va ta'amod, va tigol, right? I had va yigol. That yod is not a root 1 yod, that's a prefix yod. And this is a prefix tav standing where the prefix yod was. Va tigol. And she uncovered. And va ta'al. And she went up. All right? So that's really there just to help you not get too focused on thinking WCIs are always 3MS. They're not. Anybody can do a WCI verb. Now the jussive for our kal is generally, for the most part, the same as the imperfect. And so notice I have yifkod here. He will appoint in the kal up here, and the jussive let him appoint is a volitional form. The one guttural verb was ya'amod, and here it's ya'amod. He will stand, and this is let him stand. Normal on the back, weak on the front because it's a one guttural. The 3-hay verb is yiggle. Yiggle. The yip part is normal, right? The yip part is normal. Just realized that I did the wrong color here. Green is normal. Green is money. All right. The back part is abnormal, and this is apocupation. Yig lay becomes yig l, and the segol breaks up the consonant cluster. And I've got A-class vowel for the one gut, apocupation for the 3-hay. I get both here. Ya'al. Ya'al. Okay. So that's the jussive. Let him go up. And then what I've given you are the 3FS forms to, again, remind you that the jussive is not just 3MS, which is often what we have in our principal parts. I could put a tav where the yod is, and it would be let her do something. Tifkod, ta'amod, let her go up, let her visit, let her go up. Tiggle, let her uncover. Ta'al, let her, I'm sorry, this was let her stand up. And then ta'al, let her go up. All right, let's real quickly look at these cohortatives here. I have efkada. Efkada is normal in every way. Cohortatives have first person prefix, kamate for the back end. The one guttural has da. Da. The thing that's irregular here is not the back part, but the front. What's irregular? It's not the segol here. Aleph does like segol, but the fact that I have another segol, because this would have been something like this. With a compound shava. Da. Right? Mode becomes da, but the two vocalized shavas here can't stand together, so this vocal shava shoots out the two eyes, leaves the segol here. So da. So notice here that with our 3-hay verb, the front part is normal. Efkada, egg. Egg. What's weak? Back. Here, I just get the root 2 and a segol hay, so egg lay. If you remember from the 3-hay chapter, the cohortatives do not show the distinctive comets hay on the back end. We just get a segol hay there, so egg lay. And that makes it ambiguous because egg lay could also be the imperfect 1CS. So that form could be imperfect 1CS or a kal cohortative 1CS. Let me reveal. And then for my my doubly weak verb, I have the segols here. Okay, those are on the front end, and the segol he with root 2 on the back end. I only see roots 1 and 2 here, prefix aleph, and no comma te. So definitely weak on the back end. Let me go up. I have the first common plural cohortative here. So nif kada, let us appoint. Na'am da, this is weak on the front end, but normal on the back. Have A-class vowels where I normally get I-class due to the guttural. The verb gala becomes nigle. It's weak on the back, but very normal on the front. Nif, nig, right? Nif, nig, but 3 root letters to play with, only 2, and the second root letter takes the segol he. And then the doubly weak verb takes the A-class vowels at the front and the segol he on the back, so it's weak on both sides. Na'ale, na'ale, let us, Allah, let us go up. Imperative, remember the imperative, the strong pattern is pakod, vocal shava holam. The one guttural is almost normal, except for the fact that the guttural needs a compound shava instead of a regular vocal shava. Backside is great because it's not weak on the back, just the front. The verb gala shows the normal vocal shava of pakod, but it is weak on the back end. If you remember, after root 2, we get the serehe, serehe, nothing like the strong verbs, cal imperative. So g is right, lay is not. That's weak. Okay? And then notice over here, my gutturals taking the vocal shava, my 3 he's taking the serehe. I get both of those in the verb Allah. So alay, alay. And that is the command to a man, go up. I can command men to go up. So one of the other forms of the imperative is adding the shurik, and then the holam would reduce, and these two do a shava fight. Okay? And we get the Red Rider problem. So pick do is 2MP imperative, pakod, pick do. A mode becomes imdu. Notice that this is normal here. Since I'm not trying to put a vocal shava under the guttural, I don't have any weaknesses here. What about gala? I don't have 3 letters to play with where roots 1 and 2 get to close a syllable and root 3 gets to take the vocalic ending. Here, root 2 has to take the vocalic ending. So I'm actually weak compared to the strong verb on both sides. I do keep the vocal shava that I start with and just add the vocalic ending here. So gale becomes galu. So pick do, imdu, and just galu, galu. And this is the command to men, reveal. Notice that because I'm not closing the syllable here, I'm keeping my vocal shava. The guttural is going to leave that compound shava there instead. Just realized I was using the wrong color, and I get alu, alu. Okay, alu. Now, the participle strong verb is pokade, pokade, pokade. One guttural, o made. So these are both normal. Go lay. That's almost normal. The go part is right, but instead of a sere with a consonant, I have a segol with a he. That's 3 he weakness. Go lay. And my one guttural, 3 he. One guttural is normal, so I don't have any weakness there. It's only on the back side. I get the segol he for the participle masculine singular. So this is ole. All right? So only weak on the back because we're not dealing with any prefixing that causes trouble, not dealing with vocal shavas that have to go compound on us. Now, what about the feminine singular cal participle? Pokada is one way, or pokedet. We saw that. Omada and omedet. Very normal. No prefixing, no vocal shavai. Okay, gutturals are fine. Go la, almost absolutely normal, except after root 2, there is no root 3. So it's not go la a, but just go la, or go la a. It's just go la. I'm chopping off the segol he and adding the the comments say here. So it's only weak on the back end because I'm missing a root letter. And with Allah to go up, strong on the front end, only weak on the back because we're chopping off Segel Hey, adding comments A directly to root 2. There's no root 3 for it to hang out with. So ole, ola, ascending, going up. And then our cal infinitive absolute, we have, I'm sorry, this should be infinitive construct here. The infinitive construct is pakod and amod for our first two forms. Pakod is the normal. Amod is almost normal. The holum part is normal. I've got a vocal shiva under a guttural, though it has to go compound. Galot, galot. This is normal on the front. Got a vocal shiva under root 1. But what do I get with my 3 hey verbs? Every single one of my infinitive construct forms gets the oath ending, and that is attached directly to root 2. Galot, galot. And then over here, well, let me back up. The guttural weakness then is compound shiva, and then oath attached to root 2. I have both of those here. Lot. All right. So that is our doubly weak 3 hey verb. I'm belaboring this just so that you can get a sense for what the fact that most of these forms are really just taking the yellow of each part and combining them to create the doubly weak verb. We won't spend so much time on the rest of these forms. All right.